All right, everyone, welcome back. This is your casting host, Beef. Today we've got Game 3 between these two players here at Assembly, Winter 2012, the round of 8, and let's get started. In the bottom left-hand corner, we do have the pride of France, the ace of Team Millennium, and the foreigner hope. He is the blue Zerg, Stephano. In the top right-hand corner, we do have an unpredictable Protoss. In the red from Team Acer, it is Elfi. So going back through this series, we did have Game 2 going on during, Shakura's Plateau. And there on Shakura's Plateau, Elfi opened up with Forge Fast Expand into double Stargate play, almost pure Void Ray. And Stephano with an excellent defense, dropping 6 Spore Crawlers in his main, all in one area, able to defend his main pretty effectively, and overall limit the damage that those Void Rays were doing. Ending up producing 10 Void Rays total throughout the game. Elfi just was not able to capitalize on making those work, eventually going into Phoenix production, but Stephano countering with Hydra play of his own, and overwhelming creep spread, being able to move some of those Spore Crawlers out onto the map, and even using his queens in the fights, Stephano just able to pull victory out. So here we are on Daybreak, quite the big map that was just recently added into the Blizzard ladder rotation, and a map that is relatively balanced. I'd say that the hardest thing here for Zerg is going to be holding on to this third. If you can get a pylon in right around here, the 8-minute push onto this third is really, really strong. But as I said, Elfi is what many consider is a really unpredictable Protoss. You never quite know what he's going to do, if he's going to be doing double Stargate, and really that comes to shine for him in PvP. He just absolutely dominates in that matchup because nobody can figure him out, and that matchup is such a coin toss a lot of the time anyways, that he's just able to pull out some things that people aren't prepared for. Stephano has dropped a 14 pool at this point. Elfi going to go ahead and block his natural. Stephano instead choosing to go ahead and take that third that we talked about before. Elfi not going to follow that up with any kind of cannon play. At home, he does opt to take a Nexus first into a Forge, then Gateway. Still no cannon at home. So going to play a little bit risky. Zerglings do actually run across the map because his Overlord goes in there and sees, hey, there's no cannon in there. Overlord's immediately going to go, or excuse me, Zergling's immediately going to cross the ramp. These next Zerglings are going to be rallied right onto that pylon, but these Zerglings are going to try to sneak into that base, and if this times out properly, they should actually be able to sneak into the base. 150 minerals to get the gateway, and that should finish the block. And he might actually just try to block it with his probe. Nope, there's gateway. And so as soon as that photon cannon finishes, there is going to be some death being spewed upon the Zerglings. But oh, look at that! Zerglings actually both get into the base. Was there even a cancel on that? Oh, I don't think he even canceled that. That's bad. That's really bad. And there's even a hole in the wall right here. But Zerglings are just going to do a lot of damage here. Elfi's going to be really reluctant to drop another pylon, but he's also not going to be able to get anything out until this Zealot. He's going to actually have to chrono boost it out. So, interesting. Very smart sense by Stephano to see that timing on the photon cannon and say, hey, I can do a lot of damage right now. Immediately sneaks those Zerglings in there, gets kind of lucky with that gateway, and now he's just going to go in there and be able to do some scouting. He's going to try to keep this last Zergling alive as long as possible, be able to make use of that micro, that multitasking, and hopefully be able to get a little bit of more distraction going on, maybe even some scouting information into the main. We do see that Elfi has taken both gases. Looks like he's been mining for quite a bit. Once again, going all the way up to 300 gas. I almost expect to see, as soon as that Zergling dies, I expect to see a pylon and then possibly double Stargate. Because once again, up to 350 gas at this point, I really expect Stargate play. Stephano already on up onto 3 bases at this point. Just pull that up for you guys. And, you know, doing pretty well. Gonna go pretty unmolested at this point. With Elfi trying to just sort his base out, he hasn't been able to really do anything across the map. Not really going to harass Stephano, and that's really when Stephano is at his best, when he's just unmolested, able to go into total macro mode, and he'll just completely out-macro his opponent. Stephano taking both of those gases at around the 6-minute mark, back 6:30 it looks like. Just started mining off of these, up to 68 gas. We'll typically see him go lair with his first 100 gas. So we'll see if that happens here in a second. Already got a roach horn down, no evolution chamber just yet. I'm actually going to be taking a third gas up here at the third evolution chamber going down at the same time as lair. Second 100 gas is going straight to Zergling speed. And Stephano really just got these Zerglings going around. If we take a look at his path on these, you can see they're going all over the map checking for proxy pylons. That's what you really want to do as a Zerg, is you want to be making sure that you're using your Zerglings, splitting them up into different locations, and constantly scouting the map for proxy pylons. If a proxy pylon gets down and you are not prepared for it, you could be in a lot of trouble really quickly. Once again, we do have 3 sentries loading up into this warp prison, but Stephano catches it right away with the Zerglings. And it was kind of a bad move by Elfi to send it out in that location, send it out right over his main. He should have expected Zerglings to be there, and this is going to give Stephano plenty of time to prepare for this drop. At home, you see 11 roaches popping out right now. He's going to keep a couple of those in the main, in the mineral lines, to make sure that there's just going to be no drop shenanigans. 2 of these roaches staying behind in formation with the queen should be able to easily deal with that triple sentry harass. Elfi at home, making use of that robotic facility, start pumping out some Immortals. Immortals along with +1 ground armor, the Zealots with +1, going to be able to 2-shot those Lings. That's going to be very useful. And Zealot Immortal Sentry Push, actually going to be very strong here. Something that's certainly capable of sniping down that third, if it gets played right. But at the same time, Stephano, playing pretty much unmolested, is just macroing like a boss. We are now 10 minutes into this game. He's at 135 supply. We're going to have Roach speed finishing up at the same time as missile attacks level 1, dropping the macro hatch up there. Where is the macro hatch? That's not a macro hatch, that's a 4th. Stephano at the same time is going to be pushing into the main over here, into the natural, excuse me. Going to be focusing down that cybernetics core. Unfortunately, not able to get that immortal. Looks like one immortal actually did already fall, and the immortal is actually going to be blocked by the sentries. He's trying to drop sentries to pick up that immortal. He does get the immortal. Brilliant micro there. He manages to pick up the immortal with just 20 HP left, but now the sentries are in a bad position, and the roach is trying to get some kills on those very gas-intensive, important units. The problem with Protoss fighting in this little choke right here is that you often have the wrong units up front, and you're not able to get a good concave. Guardian Shield's going to go up, but these roaches are just going to be able to focus down the cybernetics core, and with that, the only gateway units that are going to be able to be warped in are going to be Zealots. No Cyber Core in production. He's going to be on Zealots for the time being. Another gateway goes down, in addition to a pylon. The Forge, just starting +1 ground armor, is going to get focused down next. That cannon is going to be able to provide some cover with 3 immortals. They're going to be doing a lot of damage to these roaches, and this is going to get cleaned up by Elfi. He's going to lose 2 immortals in the process, and have to blow a lot of force field and 3 different guardian shields at that time. At the same time, Stephano's on 4 base economy, full 4 base economy. We have a warp in coming here from this warp prism though, and going to pick those right on up, as there's not going to get anything done with speed roaches on creep with +1. Not going to happen. Stephano looking in very dominant fashion right now, floating about 1,100 minerals. He's going to pump a few overlords here in a moment. Going to start missile attacks too. I'd expect like 5 overlords to come out, and then just pump the rest into roaches as soon as those overlords are done. He actually, oh, he didn't cancel them, they just moved over. What am I doing? At the front here, Stephano using Zerglings and roaches to try to take out these rocks, while at the same time he is moving in for a flank on the other side. This is what you want to do as a Zerg. You want to be able to try to split your roaches up into 2 different groups so that you're able to get a good surround, because Protoss is very bad at being in 2 places at once when you outnumber them as well as Stephano does right now. You can see that he does actually have 2 different groups of units. So Stephano doing a very good job making sure that the Protoss player is having to use a lot of force fields trying to keep that flank covered. And at the same time, he's taking down the destructible rocks, blowing almost all the energy on these sentries. Looks like he's probably got about 8 force fields left over in total. But Stephano just continuing to macro.